This is a training session on effectively implementing Bloom's taxonomy in your EFL classroom. If you are watching this video, it is probably because you are a teacher of English who is not familiar with Bloom's taxonomy or is struggling to implement competency-based education in your classroom. You are at the right place because this video deals with both aspects. My goal on this channel is to help you take your teaching to another level. Believe me, I can help you make your students proficient users of English. Make sure you are ready to take notes because this video is going to be very informative and dynamic. Make sure you stick around to the end to fully grasp the meaning of Bloom's taxonomy and how it relates to the competency-based approach. Today, we'll explore how to engage your students with a fun and relatable topic, cultural differences in food preferences using Bloom taxonomy. But first, let's talk a bit about Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a framework that helps us understand how we learn and think about different things. It was originally proposed by an educational psychologist, Benjamin Bloom, in 1956. And it has been revised several times since then, with the latest revision being in 2001. At the very first level, we have remember. At the second level, we have understand. At the third level, we have apply. At the fourth level, we have analyze. At the fifth level, we have evaluate. And at the sixth and last level, we have create. Bloom's taxonomy is important in education because it helps teachers set clear learning goals, design effective lesson plans, and create meaningful assessments. Our goal through this video is to enhance students' critical thinking, speaking, and writing skills while providing you with practical strategies to apply Bloom's taxonomy at each level of learning. Breaking down learning objectives into different levels of complexity allows educators to scaffold instruction and support students at various skill levels. It also encourages critical thinking and problem-solving skills by emphasizing higher-order cognitive processes like analysis, evaluation, and creativity. Ultimately, Bloom's taxonomy helps students develop a deeper understanding of the subject matter and prepares them for success in school and beyond. So, basically, Bloom's taxonomy helps teachers understand and plan what kind of thinking they want to encourage in their students, from basic remembering to advanced creating. So what is it? Essentially, it is a ladder with 6 steps. Each step represents a different level of thinking. The bottom steps are easier, while the top steps are more challenging. Let's take a closer look at each step or level. The first step is remembering. It involves recalling or recognizing information, concepts, or ideas without understanding them deeply. For example, remembering a grammar structure. The second step up is understanding. This is when you can explain what you have remembered in your own words. So if you remembered a grammatical rule, understanding would mean you could explain why that rule is important. The third step up is applying. This is when you can use what you have learned in new situations or contexts. It involves using information in a practical way to solve problems, perform tasks, or analyze situations. For example, if you learned a grammatical structure, applying it means you can use it to solve different kinds of problems. The fourth step is analyzing. At this level, you break down information into a few components and see how they relate to each other. It's where you identify patterns, make connections, or distinguish between different elements. It's like taking something apart to see how it works. The fifth step is evaluating. This level involves making judgments or assessments about the value of ideas or materials. You decide whether something is good or bad, useful or not. The last step is creating. It's the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy, and it involves generating new ideas, products, or solutions based on previously acquired knowledge or skills. This is when you can put all the pieces together to make something new. Now, let me give you a practical example. Let's use Bloom's taxonomy to teach the concept of ice cream. Step 1. Remember. At this level, you want your students to recall the terms ice cream and its basic characteristics. Show the picture of an ice cream and ask students to repeat the words after you. Draw an ice cream on the board to introduce the basic features of an ice cream. Ask students to make simple sentences like, ice cream is sweet. People often eat ice cream as a dessert. Ice cream is very cold, etc. Step 2. Understand. At this level, you want your students to be able to say and understand what an ice cream is. Ask more complicated questions. What is ice cream? Ice cream is a dessert made from frozen sweetened cream or milk with additional ingredients like yolk, flavors, sugar, and other tasty things on top. Ice cream is often served in cones or cups. Why do people like ice cream? People love ice cream because it's delicious and it's fun to eat with family and friends. What kind of ice cream do you like? Step 3. Apply. At this level, ask your students to apply their understanding of ice cream to real-life situations. Provide students with an ice cream drawing or picture or an ice cream recipe. Ask them to label the different parts of the ice cream, such as container, color, main ingredient, and toppings. How do you make a simple ice cream? First, mix milk, cream, and sugar in a bowl. Second, add your favorite flavor like vanilla or chocolate. Third, pour the mixture into a container and put it in the freezer. Fourth, stir it every 30 minutes so it stays smooth. Finally, after a few hours, it becomes ice cream, ready to eat. Step 4. Analyze. At this level, ask your students to analyze the different components and variations of ice cream. Provide students with pictures or actual samples of various types of ice cream. There are 6 types of ice cream: regular ice cream, Italian ice cream or gelato, sorbet, frozen yogurt, soft serve ice cream, and non-dairy ice cream. The color changes according to the flavor used. Vanilla is white, chocolate is brown, strawberry is pink, etc. Step 5. Evaluate. At this level, ask your students to evaluate their preferences for different types of ice cream. Put your students into groups or pairs. Tell them that they are food critics. Their job is to sample slices of different ice creams and express their opinions about which ice cream they like best and why. Step 6. Create. At this level, ask your students to create their own imaginary ice cream with unique toppings. Provide students with blank ice cream templates or drawing materials and ask them to design their dream ice cream. Encourage creativity by allowing them to come up with unusual and imaginative toppings. Afterwards, students can present their ice cream and describe their creations to the class. Incorporating Bloom's taxonomy into your lesson plans not only enhances students' understanding of the material, but also empowers them to think critically about the world around them. This lesson on cultural differences in food preferences is just one example of how to achieve this. If you enjoyed this training session, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your experiences with using Bloom's taxonomy in your teaching. Together, let's continue to inspire our students to become thoughtful and engaged learners.